Hello, everybody, and welcome to this 5G MENA presentation today. My name is Mohamed, and I'm a member of Huawei Global Wireless and Cloud Core Network Marketing and Solutions. And I'm based out of Shenzhen. However, I am giving that presentation right now from home in Dallas. First, I hope that everyone is safe and healthy, and during that time, which I hope that it will end very soon. So today's presentation is somehow related to what is happening these days. Pandemic and the overall digital connectivity that's all over the place. And so let me first share my slides, and then we can go from there. Okay, I hope everyone see the slides now. So the title of the slide is, or the topic is going to be about bringing holistic connectivity to 5G. And if you see even from the slide, you will see here three icons about 5G, cloud, and AI, which really I consider the pillars for intelligent and holistic connectivity in this era, or in the era that the ICT is the cornerstone of the overall country's economy. So let me here shed some light on the recovery growth-oriented ICT stimulus policy post-COVID-19. As I said, what we've seen is that the willingness, and we've seen a lot of actions from different countries to enhance their policy to be future-oriented, growth-oriented, innovative policy. And we can summarize here four directions actually from countries in terms of that policy. First of all, they increase the investment. You will see on the left side here, China, for example, although their GDP declined 6.8%, their ICT investment increased by 13.2%. In Korea, for example, they're supposed to increase their 5G investment in 2020 by 50% compared to their original plan. In terms of the spectrum support, we've seen really great actions from a lot of countries in terms of the releasing releasing more spectrum, and also the temporary license that's been given to operators. We can count about 18 countries that took really great action in terms of giving the spectrum license very quick, or temporary licensing or trial license, and so on and so forth. We can count a lot of countries here. I have the list over here. For example, Ireland, Saudi, Jordan, Tunisia, Oman, Kuwait, Cambodia, South Africa, Hungary. Hungary, for example, the auction completed the 5G auction in about 3 days. That tells you that there are a lot of countries taking a lot of action in terms of the spectrum. In terms of the subsidy and relief, a lot of countries, they give subsidy to operators to give more to their consumer. For example, in Thailand, the government to give almost a free data access, I think until June or something like that. And then they also upgraded the package for free. And this money is given to carriers through spectrum installment payment, or through the universal USO, which is the percentage that the operators pay to the government. In terms of the tax credit, there are countries that reduce the taxes by about 2% like Korea, and there are countries that reduce their taxes about 15% like Japan. So you will see a lot of action in there. Moving on to why is that, or what is the effect for that? So you will see here that if we look from a little bit higher level about Industry 4.0 transformation pillars and what are the need for those, we can actually talk about four different directions. First of all, the services. We have to be innovative in the services that serve and solve national problems, and also serve the critical problem. For example, now some of the issues are related to the medical field, and some are the issues related to logistics, and that's what is needed when it comes to giving or innovative in services. Infrastructure is very important, no matter whether it's physical infrastructure or digital infrastructure, like bridges, highways, or digital infrastructure like networks and fibers and 5G and data center, things like that. do not undervalue the talent, skills, and talents and upskills. And I think that's a good time because everybody's staying home. A lot of countries, they took a lot of initiative in giving a lot of educational, like learning and remote education for everybody when at home. So talents and upskilling is very important, specifically in 5G, AI, and cloud. Of course, ecosystem and policy, open, integrated, inclusive, secure connectivity and ecosystem is very fundamental. So, and supporting all of those are the three transformative technologies: cloud and multi-access edge computing, 5G, and also big data and AI. But why is that, and why 5G is really important when it comes to upgrading industry and social development? I think that it's all about the rich and the adaptable experience of 5G, not only about the speed and latency and number of connectivity, but also about consistent experience. And it is also about the more dimensions of the experience that are added to by 5G, for example, security, reliability, availability, and also the efficiency that 5G bring in, not only the efficiency for the industries, the productivity, but also the efficiency of the technology itself. So those are the aspects that make 5G fundamental when it comes to lifting a country's economy and the technological development. If we talk a little bit technical here about something called deterministic networks and the value for 5G in serving different industries, you can see here that there are polygon, the inner polygon, which is the low deterministic network, which is a deterministic network that has lower requirements a little bit, and you can put inside the polygon you can locate the coordinates of different service, or you can upgrade the network for mid deterministic network or high deterministic network. So what I'm trying to say now is it is really up to the operator to adopt the size or the quality or the ubiquity of 5G experience attributes. But of course, it's an investment. And that investment or that experience attribute will reflect in a service adoption. So whenever you need any service, you locate it on that map, and then you will see what is the size of the deterministic network or 5G network that you need to get. For Huawei, we developed the three types of 5G to be solution in general, and they encompass like three categories. Well, first category is wireless private line network, which is just extending a wireless link to a fixed entity or a fixed enterprise or a fixed component inside the enterprise. And number two is the mobile private line, which is expanding a mobile link if the endpoint is moving. The second category is the private network, which is really using multi-access edge computing and certain quality of service needed and a lot of resource allocation and slicing. And the third category, which is going up by doing 5G plus cloud, using the cloud services and try to expand the service value. And you can see on the top, those are the just seven examples, and I think we will talk about them in details in the next slide, about the areas, the domains that these can be used. And on the bottom level, on the bottom of the slide, you will see the atomic capability of the 2B, which is, as I said earlier, which is about the mobility, reliability, bandwidth, and so on and so forth. So let's first take a quick look on those. Of course, we don't have time to go over each one of those, but I'm really happy to see things about 5G unmanned mine, because to me, as you will see here, it saves life beyond the productivity. It saves people life, and for example, you can save about 200 people life per year and about 90% of human resources just by connecting the mine, no matter whether it's autonomous driving truck inside the mine or remote excavator. When it comes to the smart port, You can use it in two different directions, whether it's crane remote control or automatic container truck. And you can actually combine things like, controlling, auxiliary controlling, truck management, surveillance camera, security, remote control for the RTG itself. And that's how you can save money, you can save resources, and you can also enhance the efficiency of the port. And these, we have a lot of cases of these two in China as well. When it comes to GCC countries, we need to talk about, as I said, the two main to-be application that's been deployed in many countries. The 5G to-be application, no matter whether it's private lines, for example, you can see here a figure, a graph in Kuwait, and also, for example, by 5G virtual campus network, just like what's happening, what we deployed in Saudi Arabia. So again, just like what I said, you can do that while private line connectivity, and if there is no fiber, for example, or you have a very low speed microwave, you can that's traditionally, you can put that wireless link by 5G, and bam, you have great connectivity in there, and you can combine all different applications in the enterprise, and you can actually integrate also the connectivity with the valued services, kind of more business for the operator and also benefiting the industry sector. In the virtual campus network, actually, you can first of all guarantee SLA, and then you can also by playing in the resource and by doing some slicing application, and those are really in need, and in terms of controlling the connectivity and the services inside the campus, and adding more services, for example, oil company or chemical company and things like that nature. But really the big elephant in the room, specifically these days, is the use of 5G in healthcare industry. We all know that the epidemic or the pandemic that's going through these days, it really encourages innovation, and they flag the whole world, flagged the need for technology inclusion in order to save people life and to solve the productivity. And if I wanted to summarize the involvement in 5G and digital connectivity in the pandemic, we can talk about three different levels. The first level, which is you see in front of you right now, which is the collaboration. Collaboration in terms of remote consultation, or maybe remote psychological consultation. People are locked down in a location, and they don't communicate outside to the main world, so they need kind of questions or consultation, or even when you do remote visitation and point-to-point remote visitation for patients in isolated areas, and instead of just moving to that location. That would be, and again, those are the things that require the connectivity. For example, for 4K video, you need in order to do those application in China, you needed about 30 megabit per second speed, and about 100 millisecond latency, which is doable. But the second level of the remote collaboration, which is, we call it remote diagnosis and treatment. So basically things like real-time CT consultation, remote sonogram, or maybe a remote treatment in ambulance. If the ambulance is getting people to hospital, the patients to the hospital, now you need also to treat those. Now the third one is how is the prevention and protection. So for example, thermal protection, checking body temperature, using robots in logistics, and also, for example, using remote ECG. The whole thing is about reducing the exposure of the expert, because the more you expose, the more cases it will be among the medical team, and that's lost because these people, these professionals, are very important. Now, the last slide I wanted to talk about is what I said in terms of the value, in terms of the efficiency, in terms of the things that you need to get out of 5G, AI, and cloud, that need collaboration. And we always talk about collaboration. Collaboration not just between operators and vendors, or even not between just government operator and vendor. Everybody needs to get to one table. Of course, I mean, it can be virtual table. I mean, it doesn't have to be the same room, but what I mean by bring them to the same table, like bring those entities to the discussion. For example, the government or the operator need to champion that and bring vendors and verticals, and then cloud service, also suppliers and supply chain, different organization like standard organization, academia, alliances, operators. All of those need to work together in order to get the right policy, as I said, future-oriented, that allow innovation. The policy, the regulation need to be generic enough to allow innovation so that we will not change it every day. And it also need to build in some of the key needs right now, which is the security. Of course, it's security in a real context, not just as a security that's being speculated these days that is related only to one country or one vendor. But we really need to bring end-to-end security, and we really need to bring in as a vendor, how to bring in the agility, efficiency, and the good ecosystem, regardless of political orientation, no matter what kind of standard, what kind of implementation way. All of that need to be brought, and of course the vertical industry need to be brought to that discussion so that the operators and the vendor can understand the requirement, so on and so forth. So that's what we call inclusive 5G, and that's how I believe we need to bring, how we bring holistic connectivity by 5G and to 5G. And I think that's all for my presentation, and thank you so much for your time. And I don't know whether we have time or not, and I'm open for questions depending on the moderator. Thank you.